It's Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. This is Rolling Thunder.
He's Chris.
Oh, goddamn, I almost said I'm Ryan right there. He's Ryan.
That's funny.
Oh, you caught me off guard with that one.
I did.
Good job. Good job. Ryan, how you been?
Good, man. Good. Just dealing with the emotional letdown after a big festival. Mm-hmm. And just trying to get through the emotions of that. It's funny. I was talking to you off camera about it. And it's like when you plan a big celebration with a large group of people and you get really excited about the celebration and you have the celebration and you're like, fuck, we got a room full of shit we got to clean up now. And,
yeah,
you know, that's kind of how I feel after the festival. It was a lot of work to get it done. And then it was over before I could blink. And now I'm just like, what's next? You know, and that what's next feelings is kind of hard to deal with sometimes.
I think one of the things is you tend to forget that the what's next is coming up. And you get so focused in like a thing. I'll tell you right now, when I did Rise of the Next comic, Rise of the Top comic, I forget exactly what they called their
I know what you're talking
thing.
about,
The finals, I was up like second or third out of 6 people.
Yeah, which is the best spot.
Yes. I think maybe it was second. I was up second. My set went very well. I was happy with it. Got off stage. I mean, I don't think there was some bullshit that happened behind the scenes, but I do know that Scotty basically said, like, this is kind of your competition. You're going to win this whole thing. And I have been overlooked in so many other competitions. And
I know.
Stuff happened that I kind of was like, I'm just going to try to have as much fun as I can with these
that's
shows.
all you can do, really.
So the thing that happened for me is I 100% my set went well. I remember I got off stage. I think either John Gagnon was next and then Gavin Clarkson. And I kind of took a moment to go outside, settle down myself because I was very hopped up.
Yeah.
Walked into the show. I was talking with someone. They were, singing my praises. Very nice. And then I walked back into the room and Gavin Clarkson was on stage murdering. And I it was like joke, applause break. And I was like, I can't be in this fucking room right now.
Yeah, I get that.
Because I'm going to go nuts watching this.
I get that.
And then it was like Gavin got third. Alistair Ogden got second. And I remember standing there going like, it might not be me who won this. That's because I did not expect Gavin to get third, and it's one of those like judges can totally screw over someone.
Yeah.
And I remember my name was called, and I walked up and gave a thank you to the audience and was sad. Was sad.
Interesting. Why do you think you were sad?
Because that feeling of what now
hit you right away?
Hit me right away. The realization of, okay, yes, a couple grand is coming my way. That ain't going to change my life.
Yeah.
That's not even going to change my immediate life. Like, it's just like, all right, here's a couple grand that I can...
You got groceries for the next couple months.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right? So it was a very quick, now what?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things was I also had like this idea of how happy I'd be.
And then
when I won. And then it's like, there was like, because of the number of years where these competitions did not go my way, I definitely thought that I'd feel some vindication.
I know. I feel you, buddy, because I felt that way when I did the Halifax Comedy Festival, when I did the All Access Comedy Show. I'm like, finally, I'm going to be on a major TV spot and representing myself to the best of my ability. And then I remember collectively as a group, we all felt like, yeah, it's really cool that we're all taking part in this. And yeah, it's the first of its kind where it was all disabled people on one show. And we could represent that funny is funny no matter what. But at the same time, for the last, 25 years, I've just considered myself a comic and a disabled person second. So I was like...
Which I consider you the opposite, but,
Yeah, well, that's because you're a dick.
Yeah, yep. No,
You're just angry because you're short. That's all
true.
it is.
That is true. That is true. Small man syndrome right here.
Yep. So you're just mad that I'm still taller than you when I'm sitting down. But anyway, that's cool.
Yeah, but I'm also happy that you don't have to change your voice to sound like that guy from the Goonies. So,
No.
Or your face, for that matter. But continue on.
My mom's gonna love this episode. You're gonna get hate mail from my mom.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Send your hate mail to rollingthunderpod at
Yes.
gmail.com.
Yes. And we'll read it live on the air.
That's
next
right.
Podcast.
I will.
No, but I was, because you know how long it's taken me to get some of the recognition as well.
Yes.
So when I was part of this festival, I'm like, this is one of them, not only one of the largest comedy festivals in our country, but it's world known, right? They get people from all over the world to come to this festival, and we were on a Sunday after the festival was technically over. That's when they filmed it. And I felt like, well, I'm part of the festival, but at the same time I'm not, because it's not during the festival hours, right? So a lot of us were like, why didn't they just sprinkle us on different shows or do it that way instead of making it like just this whole, we're going to line up a bunch of people with disabilities and march them out on stage and we're doing something good for society kind of thing.
Yeah.
When I don't want to be recognized as a disabled comic. I want to be recognized just as a comic, because that's the way you treat me. That's the way the majority of my peers treat me. That's the way I think a lot of people within the industry see me. So to have to get the opportunity because I checked the box for somebody was kind of frustrating.
Sure.
But at least the checking of that box finally gave me the opportunity to prove that I belonged, and I'm sure you felt the same way with the rise of the comics too, where you're like, it's about fucking time,
Yeah.
I still get that every show. There's always like somebody that gives me that, oh, I'm so proud of you for basically leaving your house type thing, right? Which I understand that they might not normally associate with people with disabilities or whatever the case may be. So it's fine, but is it fine? I don't know.
That's up to you. It's okay. And we're back.
Hey.
A well-timed phone call.
Yeah.
If I'm smart, what I'll do is I'll edit out the audio so we don't have to worry about getting dinged on YouTube for having the Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars
sound, but still catch you. Yeah. It's funny to me. I'm not. I'll leave that out. We were talking about having the work go in and having that, the idea of, what's next being going from a question mark to
actually doing it,
actually understanding what you think is next. And I mean, a lot of times like for me, when I won that competition, it was like I had the idea of, well, what's next for me is building for my next special, which I still have no actual end in sight with. I feel like what I'd like to do is run a show where I have comics there to like give me notes like, hey, here's all my material. What needs to be cut? Just be ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you have any ideas for some of them, toss them my way. But realistically, it's let's try to condense this thing, because I believe right now I've probably got about an hour 20 that I'm mostly happy with.
Okay.
It's just figuring out what would fit within there, because I don't want a comedy special that's an hour 20. Like, I feel like that's too long.
No.
But I digress. That my point was going from, well, what's next to I just got to keep working.
Yeah.
Is, I think, and I mean, you know, you put all this work in with this festival. It's going to be hard not to have that. Well, what's next? Because that's where such a laser hard focus was for so long.
Yeah, and it's true, and I'm also like, we both know that like the winter and fall and winter months are our busiest time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I can't just jump in a car and go on the road and do gigs, and then, you know, it takes a whole army of people to get things done. So it's even when I do have what's next, it's like, okay, I have it, but can we pull it off, kind of thing?
Sure.
Is also a concern that I always have. So.
Well, I mean, you know, this is one of the reasons that we're doing this podcast. It's one of the reasons that we're working together. It's one of the reasons that, you know, we have this stage show that this podcast is named after. You know, we're going to be filming all 3 shows.
It's true.
Coming up, and we'll be able to use that for some marketing purposes and that. Like, it's we have the plan. It's just the thing is that's going to be a big part of what this long-term plan is. You know what I mean? So it's like, realistically, having that feeling of what's next for you, it's this show at the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And promoting that, and then the Yuck Yucks shows.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, and in between those, I co-headline with Gavin at the brewery in Langley. So
not in between, beforehand.
Beforehand, yeah.
Right? Because
I meant like in between. Oh no, it is beforehand.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But I mean like that's where that feeling comes from. Like I said, it's weird to say that I felt sad after winning a comedy competition. I should have been happy. I should have been
elated.
Yeah, definitely.
Feeling vindicated, yeah.
Yeah, but it was very much like, hey, you know, there was no one to go, you finally did this. Right? I think my brain to go,
what's next?
Well, it's done.
Yeah.
And I think part of it, if you listen to like these big name entrepreneurs who are like, what do you call them? Like these social media influencers who are like entrepreneurs. So influencepreneurs, I guess. I don't know what you'd call them, you know, but like Gary Vaynerchuk, Alex Hormozy, that Cody chick, the guy from like Diary of CEO, a lot of them will mention that what you really have to be in love with is the work.
The grind to get there.
Yes. And not
the end result.
Not the end result.
Makes sense.
So it's like, I mean, changing, I don't know how much.
I have a question. because a lot of my material that I come up with stems from my life experience. So I've never been one of those comedians that can be like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and write jokes for the next 2 hours and see what I come up with. Like I can't, my brain can't process that way. So my biggest thing is I know I have enough content
Uh-huh.
for what we're trying to do, but at the same time, when we actually film it into the special we keep talking about,
I mean, that's still a ways off. And
yeah,
like, I'm helping
I
to
just I just want to like part of the reason that I've worked so hard the last few years is because I've had a chip on my shoulder
uh
and it kind of I was pissed off with not getting the recognition that, well, not, see, that's not even the right way to put it, because I know every time I do a show, generally it's pretty good feedback. So it's not even a recognition thing, it's stability. But even that doesn't make sense in the industry we're in, because,
right?
yeah. So I don't know what it is really. Like I've never been. I've always tried to never focus on being one of those people that needs like that a boy or a pat on the head or a good job. Like, even though stuff like that still feels good when it comes from your peers. Like, whenever I have a good set, either they're pissed off about it because they got to follow it, or
Yeah.
they're like, that was a really good set. But either way,
Yeah.
that's a positive result of what you just did, right? So that's cool, and I appreciated the ability in the festival to really combine people's humor into a show that wasn't just the same type of humor throughout the show, right? Every show had a little bit of everything. At least that's the way it felt for the festival, and that's what am I trying to get at here? I don't think it's I don't know what I'm trying to get at. I just there's just a sense of like, can I do this? You know, like, am I physically, is my body going to allow me to push it to do what we need to do? Like, I don't even know, and that worries me because I don't want to let anyone down. I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let Andy down. I don't want to let myself down, or even Michael and Emma, my caregivers, because they put in so much extra work to ensure that I can live my dream and do what we do, you know? So,
Well,
I've been struggling with that lately. I don't know if that makes sense.
It 100% makes sense. But let me back up a second. Number one, when you say you can't be that person who sits and writes, I totally understand that. I feel that because I am also someone very much who pulls from my life, right? But if you were to look at my act and look at bits that aren't, hey, here's a story from my life. For example, my piece about like my brother's kids, okay, or like my piece about buying a coat. Like those are very much stories from my life.
Yes.
But the vast majority of my material is observational. Okay. And when I look at your act, there is a very good percentage of your act that is observational. And I think it's a higher percentage than you actually think.
Okay.
And the thing is a lot of that can stem from, oh, here's a thought that I had happen. I have to talk about this on stage. That's where you have all these skills. It's not hard for you to actually sit down and go, here's what I want to write about today, rather than let me sit down and The whole let me sit down and write jokes is the dumbest fucking thing that I hear, because it's like, okay, so you're going to sit down, write jokes. It may take you all day to write 20 jokes, and maybe one of them is worth keeping. Maybe. So at what point, your return on investment is super low. Whereas if you go, here's something I'm passionate about, I'm going to not even sit and write. I mean, like, I'm going to sit and turn on a voice recorder, and I'm just going to talk about this and not try to be funny. And then I'm going to listen back to it, and I'm going to think, where can I find the funny? And I'm going to work on it that way. That's how I wrote the bit about my brother's kids. That's how I wrote the bit about the peacoat. Like, I had, for those things, I had 2 punchlines for each in the back of my head. And that was it. You know what I mean? Like,
and then you just organically came together.
Yes. Like the peacoat bit talking about the texting between me and my girl. Like, I'm trying not to burn this, but like the texting between me and my girlfriend, I had one line and I had the response in my head. I had that punchline. That was it.
Yeah. By the way, that's a brilliant joke.
Thanks.
I'm just going to say that. It's one of my favorites.
But like that one, that's all I had. Was that exact thing. The piece about my brother's kids, all I had was the where their hiding spot was.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I just talked it out, listened to it back, went, this stuff I don't necessarily can keep, this stuff I can get, but also had a bunch of stuff where I went, you know what? I'll keep tweaking this. And then eventually I do type it out, but I do it in like line form.
Yeah.
So, when you say you can't sit and write, I'm telling you, you can. Your method just needs to be adjusted.
Okay.
You need to stop going like, I'm going to sit and just write. Let me think about when we were working on the roast. Okay. The roast battle that and I don't want to pull the curtain up and say I sat down and helped you with some of the jokes. I mean, what ended up coming through was still very much you, but a few of the jokes, I was like, what if you take this angle? And then we kind of worked on it. And it was more of when I told you, like, what are 3 things that you think you could poke at?
Yeah.
And then let's expand.
Okay.
So it wasn't, oh, what can we just come up with out of thin air?
Yeah, or how can we make,
You know what I mean?
How can we,
And I think that snowballs into, that's where the work comes down to.
Okay.
And eventually, I mean, realistically, I know you want to record a special by next fall. Yeah. Realistically, I think that can be done. I don't care what anyone says. I think you're more than ready to do that.
Thank you.
It's just getting the act ready for it.
Yeah.
That's where the first work comes in. And then the second work is around the time that we're recording. Now you got to scramble to come up with new material, which you can do. And you can still tour with the same act for a while, but eventually you got to start shuffling in some new stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I still use my closer from my old special. I don't like to, because, that I recorded that years ago. I'm going to re-edit it for YouTube eventually. I've been saying I'm going to do that for a long time. That's one of the things with me. I procrastinate.
That's my problem too. Even with the festival, I could have got things done a lot faster and not been so stressed out because I did have a lot of time. But I was like, classic Ryan waits to the last minute for everything. And
I think part of the other problem with that too, and this has a lot to do with ADHD, depression, anxieties, really pushing to people with procrastination, right?
Yeah.
So, I think I don't know how, I think we discussed you've done cognitive behavioral therapy,
Yeah.
correct? Like, it's not, and this is going back to right before we had to cut before the phone call. I was going to mention the thing about cognitive behavioral therapy is you understand that your behaviors are the easiest thing to change. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts are the second easiest thing to change. Your emotions, those are just fucking there. You can't change them. That shit is there. Mm-hmm. That shit does not go away as much as you'd like it to. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much I'm going to feel my feelings.
Yeah.
And then learning to accept that you're going to feel your feelings is where a big struggle comes in life.
Yeah.
You're going to feel how you're going to feel right now. It's where can you take action, and let me take action on that.
Okay.
And the thing is, and as someone who's also massive procrastinator, if I don't take action, I feel worse.
Me too.
Because then I get anxiety.
Yeah.
Then I get depression.
Yeah.
I have to find a way to take action.
And then there were points where I knew everything that the South Rock Festival people wanted me to do. I knew I could do. Mm-hmm. But because I was in my head about a lot of it, it would just bring me down. And even something as simple as looking at a spreadsheet was starting to stress me out.
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, listen, we have plans for the spring that we're going to have to sit down and start fleshing out, which we're going to do. We have, I think, at least a couple months to start fleshing it out, start reaching out, start figuring dates out.
Yep.
You and I are going to do that. Okay?
Yeah.
But yes, getting in front of a spreadsheet sucks.
Yeah, I just found it really overwhelming and daunting, even though I could take my time with it. Like, just even, I'll make it even simpler. Just using a computer in general sometimes gets me really anxious, and I get frustrated because with my disability, my brain works a lot faster than my body does. So I would get annoyed that something that should take me a couple minutes would sometimes take me a couple hours, just because of logistically it'd just be hard for me to physically get it done. But in my mind, I'm already 7 emails ahead, and 2 shows have been booked already, but my body's still working on that first show. So I think for me personally, it just has to come from a place of that's okay. It's okay to feel those frustrations, but I can't just sit in them and let them be the cause of my procrastination. I have to learn how to forgive myself and be it might take me all day to do something that an able-bodied person could do in a few hours, but I'll feel more accomplished if I get it done, right? So that's what I have to keep reminding myself of, is I can get it done.
Absolutely. I will say this, though. I think having the idea of I should forgive myself, you have nothing to forgive yourself for. You know what I mean? I have to remind myself of that too. I have to there are things in my life that I do have to forgive myself for, and I fucking struggled with. But something like this does not apply. Something like this is, I just have to think, what's a small action I can take, and I just have to take that action.
Yes.
Okay. For me, the thing that I'm worst at is reaching out to people. And that's what I'm going to do next week, or technically this week. I mean, we're recording this a few days early, so I'll be doing this Monday and Tuesday, or I guess Tuesday, the day before this goes live, is I'll be reaching out to people to actually get stage time, because I have to start cobbling together my stuff too. Even though I've got some shows in the future, and like shows that I'll be able to get a good amount of stage time to work on stuff, but I'd rather be a bit more sharp.
Yeah.
You know? But that said, I honestly, Ryan, it's like you're going to get through that feeling. Your mindset will shift to, rather than, hey, what's next? To
let's keep going.
To not to let's keep going, but to like that what's next will ding, you know? It'll pop up, and then that's where your focus will change. And that's when that feeling will go away, and then the feeling will go, how do I not procrastinate with this? But it's like you're going to come out of it. Guess what? When I won that competition, like I said, I felt this deep, brutal sadness. That feeling went away because eventually it was, I have more work to do, and this ending has nothing to do with the work that I have to do.
Yeah. And I think also this is, for me, stand up went from something that got me out of the house to now it's a hobby. But I feel like it's only been the last couple of years, and maybe it's been the people I've had around me, but it's only been the last couple of years where I felt like, okay, this is my job. This is how I'm going to put food on the table and look after the people I care about, right? And sometimes I forget to, honestly, I forget to have fun. Because I'm so concerned about making sure that we have enough to make elevator payments or strata fee payments or even the price of groceries and stuff. Like, but I know when I'm relaxed and I'm just myself, Ryan the entertainer, I can put on a really great show.
Yeah.
And I want to get that feeling again, you know, and sometimes I get it. Like I had it throughout the festival because I had a lot of like local businesses and the citizens of White Rock and South Surrey like come up to me and be like, what you did here was good. You did a good thing for the community.
You did a good thing.
And I need that feeling in myself. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Like, I get so wrapped up in my head, like, I have to make money, I have bills to pay. But if I just relax and do good on the shows that I have, it'll lead to other opportunities.
100%.
Right? So
100%. There are plenty of things to be stressed about, but finding space to enjoy the ride, it makes life way easier.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as we've discussed off air, things that I don't get into in my private life that I've been super stressed about, but I also have been looking and working on. And I haven't been very much showing that stress with, like a lot of others have been like, the way you've been taking all of this has been wild, because eventually I realized I just have to enjoy this ride no matter what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And like I said, you'll reach there. You will. You know, one of the ways that you could reach there is by going swimming. So that's...
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
So you went last week. We meant to talk about it on a podcast last week, but we had to record a second podcast. And
yes,
I need to get your cat away from the camera.
She just wants to be part of the show.
Yeah, she wants to be part of the show. So you went swimming last week, which...
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, it works a lot different than when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, my dad would just tie a life jacket to me and go to the end of the deep end and throw me in and hope that I didn't drown. Now they have like full-on accessible rooms
Okay.
where all I have to do is bring the swing. And for those that are listening to the podcast or watching the podcast, the swing is what they put underneath me to get me in and on my wheelchair. So I bring my sling, and then they have a ceiling lift in one of the change rooms, and so I go from my power chair into what's called they call them water chairs, but honestly at the pool they're just ones that look like they stole them from an airport.
Sure.
And they're quite rusted because they're always going in the water. But yeah, and then the pool by my place is like disabled friendly, so there's a ramp that we just wheel the wheelchair down, and eventually I just start to float, and then my caregiver or my friend or whoever's there with me holds on to me so I don't float into other people, but sometimes that happens when the pool's full, but more often than not it's usually a toddler that's with their parents that like hangs on to me like I'm a buoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit, so. But yeah, it's quite the effort to get me in the water, but once I'm in the water, it's probably the most relaxed my body gets, which is nice for having a spastic disability. It's nice to have my stuff calm down, so yeah.
So if your body's all relaxed, it's not really swimming. It's more like you're just like a dead body floating.
I'd be perfect for CSI. You know, I'd be dead body number 3 or something like that.
You got to look for it. Everything's covered. Everything.
Yeah. If comedy doesn't work, I'm just going to be a dead body in lots of crime documentaries.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even, he was murdered because look at how deformed.
And that's why I don't have to change my voice to do Sloth from the Goonies. You're supposed to say, I'll take care of you.
No, that's not going to happen.
You're not going to be my chunk.
What happened when you went swimming last time?
Oh, you mean the kid that held the kid? Yeah. Well, that's why I brought it up. Like, often I get, like, young kids that are swimming with their parents. Then all of a sudden, they think I'm, like, a floaty in the pool, and they just hang on to me and float around the pool with me. And I had a young kid. He was probably maybe 4 or 5. He just thought it was the greatest thing ever. He was just hanging onto my arm. He grabbed my leg at one point, and we were floating around in the hot tub together. So yeah, it's kind of awesome.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I haven't been swimming in years, like proper swimming.
Yeah, we won't need to bring up the hot tub.
No, we don't need to bring that up again.
Wait, check out.
It's 10 episodes. We don't need to bring it up every episode. All right?
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. Quit making me feel like an asshole. All right? I will say, as always, it's good to do these in person. I like when we're doing these in person. Yes, I don't mind the online, but it's like...
It doesn't feel as authentic.
It still feels authentic. It's just like the setup in that. I mean, it's a lot harder to edit these ones together because I have to mesh them all. But I can do it. It's not that difficult. I've been getting a lot more efficient.
That's good.
At it, which moving into the future, dealing with stuff that'll be just fine as well. I will say, like, getting up to come here was one of those. I've had like a few nights of like bad sleep.
Yep.
And last night wasn't this morning was one of those mornings where you go like, I'm going to get up, and then like, I'm just going to close my eyes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, what time is it? But I had one of those. I went to bed early because the night before I kept waking up with heartburn.
Okay.
It's like every 2-3 hours, boom, heartburn. Pop a couple Tums, boom, heartburn. Well, it's been too soon since I popped Tums to pop them again because that's really hard on the gland to So like, okay, I'll do the old, what I'll do is I'll do 2 tablespoons of like apple cider vinegar, and then I water it down.
Okay.
And that'll take a while to like work in. But it's usually when you have heartburn, it's because you don't have enough acid in your stomach at the time, so it turns into like a gas and starts coming up. That's what makes it so harsh. So I had a night of just that. Woke up like 3 fucking times. Like,
That's
goddamn.
awful.
Last night, I had one of those where you wake up and you look at the time and you go, oh shit, I got to get up. I woke up, it was like 12:30. I'm like, fuck, I told Ryan like I was going to be around at a reasonable time. Like, shit, I got to get up. So I did like that spring up and like, oh God. And then like I look out the window and I'm like, huh, it's unusually dark out for this time. And then I start like getting dressed and then I'm like, fuck, it's 12:30 at night. This is not, God damn it. Shit.
That's funny.
I had to start deleting the text I was sending you. I'm on my way. You'd have woke up. What the fuck do you mean he's on his way?
Yeah.
So yeah, 100% like one of those, which happens every so often.
Yeah.
That one, God, I hate that one.
Where you wake up in a panic and you're like, oh my God, I'm waiting. And you realize it's the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there myself.
I'd like to see yours where you're calling them. Why are you waking me up? I'm late. Come get me.
Yeah.
What do you mean, come get you? It's 3 a.m. Oh, I thought it was 3 p.m. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, trust me, I've been there.
But it was 100%. Like I started getting ready, open the curtain. It's dark out. Still getting ready.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Oh no, never mind. I go back to bed.
That's funny. Well,
I think I was like jacked up from that.
oh, and then you can, yeah.
Yeah. So it's been like a whole thing. And then like the other thing that happened this week is I bought these ballpoint pens that I fucking love. We're not getting paid for them, so I'm not going to mention the brand. But they're great. But one of the ballpoint pens just stopped writing. Okay. So I went out to get a lighter to like do the, like try and heat up the clog, see if I can get it writing. And I went to Dollarama first to like pick up some stuff, going like, oh, I'm gonna, and I instinctively went to the self-checkout. Beep, 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 left the mall, and then my head was just like, moron, you forgot the thing. And I was like, well, do I turn back, walk to, and I was like, I walked to the other mall. There's a Sheffield and Sons there. Okay,
yeah.
So I just walk up to the Sheffield and Sons. They're dealing with someone. I go, I'll look around the mall for a little bit. I'll come back. Go back. Lady's like, what's up? I'm like, I just need a lighter. She goes, well, we've got ones that are priced. I go, whatever is the cheapest one. I like, it's not something that I'm going to use regularly, but having one is not the worst idea. So just whatever $2 one. She goes like this. She goes, okay. I pull up my card. She goes, do you have cash on you? I go, no, I don't have cash. She says, well, I'm going to charge an extra 50 cents. Is that okay? No, that's not okay. I just want to pay how much it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and she goes, then you can buy it from elsewhere. And the way she said it was 100% like well, fuck off then.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you, number one, I'm sure Visa and MasterCard and whoever their distributor is, Desjardins or whatever, a lot of companies, I'm sure they would love to hear that because they would be penalized hard for that because they can't just tack on for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
They can't do that. And especially if it's to cover the fees. Like, hey, congratulations. Now you don't have point of sale. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I ended up getting one from the gas station.
Okay.
But I was I was like, also, how do I not curse you out at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's pretty shitty behavior.
like because it wasn't like, if she said like, listen, we can't afford to cover the fee on this. So, like, if you're not cool with that,
there was different. There was a nicer way of putting it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And listen, sometimes I'm not the nicest guy. Sometimes if I'll get frustrated, I'll speak out. I mean, during the whole like height of COVID, there were times where I'd be lined up to get into like the self-checkout, and you know, in like the grocery store, they'd have like the lineup started in the aisles because of how the layout was with the store, right?
Okay.
And it was one of the things where it's like, they've been doing this for 6 months, and I'm waiting, and then someone would just stroll up and then just stand in between the aisle and like the checkouts. And I remember one time I was like, yo, lineup's back there. And my girl was mad at me because I said it like, yo, lineup's back there. And I was like, but who's the ass? Is it me for saying it that way?
No.
Or is it the person who, hey, this is how things have been running for the past 4 or 5 months?
Yeah.
Fuck off with that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned things like that because being in the chair, sometimes people like will let me cut through a line, but then still as being a human being, I'm like, oh, I feel, yes, I appreciate that I get to pull the wheelchair card, but I have nothing else to do today, so I could actually technically sit in the back of the line and be fine. But then again, I'm always going to use it to my advantage if I can. So.
Why not? I have no problem with people using stuff to their advantage that way. It's my problem is, and it's not that I don't have a little bit of it myself for sure. My problem is the amount of like entitlement that people show. And I mean, we got to wrap this up shortly anyways, but the one thing that I remember, I was at a Canadian Tire and there was a lineup at like the service desk. I had to get something done with my car at the time.
Okay.
And I'm waiting for I think maybe I got my brake lines changed or whatever. That's a whole other story that I'll have to tell you another time because oh man, was I mad at that. But I'm at this I'm in the lineup and there's like the guy's helping someone, right? And then there's like another guy, a lady, myself. And we're all kind of, there's no like lineup because it's the fucking auto service desk, right? But it's pretty clear. We're all waiting. And then this old lady just strolls in. I'm calling her old. She maybe 50s. Not that old actually, but you know what I mean? Like strolls right up to the service desk. And we're all looking at each other. And eventually I just went, hey lady, like there's a lineup.
Yeah.
Like it's like that guy, her, then me. And then this guy. And she goes, well, just take a second. And I just went, is your time that much more valuable than the rest of ours? Because the fact that you think that is crazy.
Yeah.
Get in the back of the line. Wait your turn.
Yeah, wait your turn.
And she just huffed, like did that. Stormed out. I mean, my husband. I don't give a... Yeah, bring your fucking husband here. I'll tell your husband. It's just tire thing. I don't care. There's 4 people in this lineup. The gall to just go, I'm going to do this?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like, I didn't curse her out, but I wanted to. And then she just storms off. And it's also like... So what she was doing was she was just like returning tires or something. Okay. But it's like, just roll them up and set them aside. Here's those tires. You didn't have to actually butt in front of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the lady...
I understand the reason you'd be upset.
But the lady ahead of me, she just turns to me and she just goes, that was awesome. Like...
That's funny.
And I was like, I wasn't trying to be rude. But like...
Yeah.
the fact that you think, no, you all can wait. Yeah. Oh, no. We're already waiting.
Yeah.
Like, if she had come in and went, hey, listen, I just have like these 4 tires to return. Is it?
You mind if I?
You mind if I just
Yeah.
bring? Like, I don't have to be runging. I don't have any of that. I just have to bring them in, and I just want to tell the guy that. Fucking by all means.
Yeah.
By all means, but it's the mindset of
I'm just gonna do this, and
I'm just gonna do this.
You're gonna have to take it.
I know, and especially the ones where I'm just gonna do this. It's not gonna take a lot of time. Yes, it's gonna take you some extra time to tell us, but if you tell us, we'll be okay. Yeah. Most of the time.
Well, and it's funny you mention that, because a lot of the time too, what I face is, especially if I go somewhere myself and I'm waiting to get service for something, a lot of the time I won't get service unless there's somebody with me, or I just completely get ignored.
Well, you just shout, "Hey, you guys," and you'll be fine.
Truffle shuffle. Yeah. We should get royalty checks from Steven Spielberg for talking about the Goonies.
That's right. All right. Yeah. We should wrap this up.
All right. We need to call this episode Sloth Likes Chocolate or something, or chocolate. Truffle Shuffle. That's what
Truffle Shuffle?
Yeah.
All right. We'll name it Truffle Shuffle. All right. That's fine.
Sounds good.
As always, had a good time.
Yep.
What do we got coming up? You got that show at the Five Roads Brewery?
Yeah, Five Roads Brewery with Gavin Clarkson on...
What day is that?
The 12th of October.
Okay.
Show starts at 7, I believe.
Yes, that's not an early one. Long weekend, too.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. And then
we got the Galaxy on the 17th.
Yeah, I'm doing a gig that I think is pretty much sold out on the 12th or 13th.
Oh, yeah? What are you doing?
I will be taking part of a show out here in White Rock at the...
at the Legion.
At the Legion. And
nice.
Like I said, I think it might already be sold out, because I think it's one of those, like, Thanksgiving dinner...
Okay, dinner and a show
and a show type deal.
Awesome.
So I'll be doing that, but... I don't even know if there's tickets at this point, but that I have. And then, we're both doing the Galaxy on the 17th, and then Rolling Thunder, 18th and 19th of October. I'll put the ticket link in the description below.
Nice.
Here on YouTube, and we'll be posting about it over the next few weeks as well.
Yep.
Anyways, but I'm very excited about it. And it'll be a lot of fun.
Yep, we get to go on stage together and make fun of each other, or as I like to put it, you'll try and say something, I'll no-sell it, and then I'll just burn you back. It'll be great. Good times.
Yeah, great for one of us. All right, That's it for this week's episode. I'm Chris.
I'm Ryan.
You guys have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.